Shit, man, I stay fit, man. You did? Yes, sir. And it's not tucked in. This is tucked in. Yeah, today, March 1st, 2025. Y'all gotta stop capping on me, man. The only reason I look overweight in that picture is because I had on like 3 sweaters.
Errol Spence has started preparing for his rematch against Terence Crawford, as he recently shared on social media. There has been a lot of speculation surrounding their upcoming fight, especially following the recent controversy between the two fighters. The former welterweight champions have been making headlines frequently in recent weeks, with one of the main stories being Terence "Bud" Crawford's comments questioning Errol Spence's Hall of Fame status.
We working, man. We working. You know what I'm saying?
He ain't wake me up from a run.
Nah, bro. Nah. Hey, going on vacation, not bringing your running shoes. It's like going on a dinner date and not bringing your wallet, man.
Oh, man.
God damn, man. We wet, man. We wet up, man. And we this one.
The situation between Errol Spence and Terence Crawford has continued to evolve. After Crawford's controversial comments, Spence took them personally and called for a rematch. However, Crawford doesn't seem very eager, as his focus appears to be on a potential fight with Canelo Alvarez. Still, in the world of boxing, where Saudi boxing mogul His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh plays a major role as a key negotiator, almost anything is possible. It's likely that Al-Sheikh would be very interested in facilitating a rematch between Crawford and Spence. Additionally, there have been rumors suggesting that Al-Sheikh is planning for the rematch to take place unexpectedly as a co-main event to the Canelo Alvarez versus William Skullcard fight. This remains a possibility, despite Crawford's comments reigniting a rivalry that ended in one of the most lopsided bouts in recent boxing history. The fight, once seen as a 50-50 contest, turned into a one-sided affair, with Crawford dominating every round. He dropped Spence in the second round and twice more before the fight was stopped by the referee in the ninth round. Now Spence is showing off his physical shape, having resumed training for his rematch with Crawford. He's determined to face the same opponent who handed him a painful defeat that sidelined him for 2 years. It appears that Spence's renewed confidence may come from a change in his training camp, with Derek James no longer part of his team, potentially signaling a shift in his approach to preparation.
I talked to Errol, I was like, man, I apologize, not for what I said, but for how I acted. Because I don't believe in apologizing. If I really meant something, I'm not going to apologize. And no, man, don't worry about that. He said, because 2 days before the fight, tempers rise, everybody's, shit's more. So yeah, this is what it is. When you hear people talk about you, and then when you're in front, I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about it. I don't know nothing.
Not even a hint of maybe going to the rematch at 154.
Oh, I mean that part. I mean, I'm sure they already, they already signed that or whatever. But I don't know anything about that either. But I just know what they talk about. You'll see him. He won't be.
From the start, Derek James and Errol Spence were inseparable. When James, the former BWA Trainer of the Year, spoke, Spence listened. Together, they enjoyed a long and unified reign in the 147-pound division, and they were just one win away from becoming undisputed champions. However, a devastating loss to Terence Crawford in July 2023 turned out to be much more than a mere setback. Following the lopsided stoppage defeat, James sued Spence for over $5 million in unpaid wages. As their legal battles unfold, Spence is now searching for a new trainer. Among the candidates is trainer Edward, who has been linked to Spence after they were recently spotted together, sparking further speculation. Although he's open to the possibility, the Philadelphia-based trainer is cautious. He doesn't want fans or the media jumping to conclusions about his potential involvement with Spence just yet.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get in this year. Probably October, November. Yeah, you gotta wait to hear from me. I'm looking for I'm looking for a coach right now. So
I'm gonna hand you like you're not people. And so, he said what he said, whatever. But and then even afterwards, he said, really, I'm just like, I shouldn't have.
Nothing has been decided, Edwards told Mill City Boxing. We're just cool, that's it. He was in Philly on some business and decided to work out at the gym, but Errol hasn't told me who he's picking as a trainer. We just worked out together for a couple of days. I'm not saying I wouldn't train him, and I'm not saying he's not considering me, but he hasn't made a choice yet. Edwards has spent the past few years building up a strong stable of fighters, including Caleb Plant, Julian Williams, Kion Davis, and others. From a distance, Edwards has always admired Spence and is curious to see how he'll perform in his new weight class at 154 pounds. If Spence were to choose Edwards as his trainer, it would be an honor. As for Spence's game, Edwards believes there isn't much to improve on. If their partnership were to come to fruition, it wouldn't be about refining technical skills, but rather focusing on what's between Spence's ears, the mental side of the game.
Retire right now and be in the Hall of Fame, he couldn't. You know, like everything that I've accomplished, he's still trying to accomplish. You know.
Do you not think Spence will be in the Hall of Fame?
Right now? No, how?
Yeah, he's right, dude. He's right.
How? You know,
you would
like
be,
he fought in one division. You know,
never unified the belts.
There are little things I could tweak, but he's already a tremendous fighter, Edwards explained. The main thing I think I can do for him is build up his self-esteem. Training Spence would bring even more attention to Edwards' name and significantly boost his earnings. But for Edwards, it's not about the money. Having known Spence for years, Edwards has no selfish motives when it comes to him. If Spence chooses to go in a different direction, the love will remain the same. That's my guy. I like Errol Spence, and I wish him the best. I'm never going to be mad at him if he picks someone else. Renowned boxing trainer Stephen Edwards recently weighed in on the entire Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence saga, offering some insightful and detailed observations.
He did unify.
You know,
IBF.
he unified.
Was it?
He had three. He had the
But he
WBC,
didn't unify all four.
WBA,
He wasn't
IBF.
undisputed.
Huh?
He
no,
wasn't
no,
undisputed.
he wasn't. No, but what I'm saying is, they already called him a weight bully, right? He beat Kell Brook coming off of a loss, an eye injury. You know, he beat Sean Porter.
In all fairness, he had to go over there to get that.
The boxing trainer was pressed by a reporter who said, Terence Crawford recently shared some interesting opinions. I know you've been a big supporter of Crawford's status as a great fighter, but I have a strong opposing view. You believe Crawford is a Hall of Famer and the #1 pound for pound, while I think he needs to accomplish more. I rate him in the top 5, but his resume is weak. In response, the trainer pointed out that in a recent interview, Crawford stated he doesn't believe Errol Spence is a Hall of Famer. Since Spence is Crawford's best win, the trainer argued that if Spence isn't a Hall of Famer, it only strengthens his own point and weakens Crawford's. Thanks, bud, for settling our debate, the trainer added. The reporter continued. Crawford also claimed that Manny Pacquiao was on performance-enhancing drugs, suggesting that Pacquiao stopped scoring knockouts once Floyd Mayweather insisted on drug testing. But Crawford failed to mention that Mayweather himself has a shady past. Mayweather underwent USADA testing, not VADA, which allows fighters to seal their test results. A clean fighter would never have their results sealed, but I get it. Black fighters tend to support each other. He also forgot to mention that Manny sued Floyd, and Floyd settled out of court to avoid his own questionable history from being exposed. If Floyd truly believed Manny was dirty, why would he settle? I know you're going to try to spin this, but there's really no way to clean it up.
You know what I mean? That's a good win. Like, I don't want to sound like I'm hating on him or, you know,
I understand
things like that, but I honestly don't know if he make it to the Hall of Fame with the...
He did unify, you know, the IBF title, but it wasn't a clean unification. He wasn't the undisputed champion, right? No, he wasn't undisputed. But what I'm saying is, people were already calling him a weight bully. He beat Kell Brook, who was coming off a loss and had an eye injury, and he beat Sean Porter. To be fair, he had to go over there to win that one.
Terence Crawford goes on an interview, states that, Errol Spence right now at this moment in time, with the accolades that he has, probably won't go to the Hall of Fame. You were talking about devaluing your opponents. What do you think about that comment?
Oh man,
Does he deserve to be in the Hall of Fame with the accolades he has now? First of all, in your eye?
You know, I'm a big, big fan.
In response, Bredman said, "Okay, I see you're coming at me hard because of something Terence Crawford said, but I'm not going to back down. Crawford's opinion is just his opinion. I think Manny is an amazing fighter, one of the best I've ever seen, maybe even my favorite from the last era, but there were always some doubts surrounding his incredible success. It didn't help that Freddie Roach once publicly said that Alex Ariza gave Manny things, and he didn't even know what they were. So Crawford isn't the only one in boxing who suspected Manny might have used PEDs. He's just saying it out loud. Personally, I'm undecided. One reason is because Manny actually sued Floyd. And when you sue someone, you risk exposing yourself since everything has to be revealed in court. I've been sued before, so I know how that works."